Good morning, everyone. Our school is known as the West End School Soaring Eagles. We equip and encourage our young students to aspire and to soar to reach their highest potential in life. But what you may not know is that rather than calling our school orchestra an orchestra, we call it a soarchestra. Get it? Soarchestra. So here to help us kick off this wonderful event are students who play in our soarchestra under the direction of music director Keith Cook. They will play an aria composed by Puccini entitled O Bambino Caro, O mio bambino caro. We have given all of our students a break from their classes this hour to join us in this important announcement. Students, thank you for representing our school so well. We also want to thank our dedicated faculty and staff, as well as our parents and guardians who have entrusted their sons to our care. Together, we are making a difference in the lives of these young students. We have an amazing Board of Trustees who are dedicated to fulfilling the mission of our wonderful school. We as trustees do what we do for one reason, and that's for the love of these boys. The West End School is blessed with wonderful support from every sector of our community, including our elected officials. And today we are very delighted to have some of them present, led by our esteemed mayor. The current mission of the West End School is to provide a safe and highly structured environment for boys in grades pre-K through 8th grade, with academic rigor, character development, and responsible action lay the foundation for a purposeful life. Our goal is to propel these students, regardless of their circumstances, to achieve their highest potential. We are so very excited this morning to formally announce that beginning in the fall of 2024, the West End School for the first time will open our doors to serve girl students. How wonderful is that? Wonderful. We are here to share our specific plans to open a new facility which will welcome up to 140 girl students into a learning community that will be a life-changing experience and will open up doors of opportunity for a successful future for these girls. That wonderful dream and vision that Robert and Debbie Blair had some 17 years ago is now expanding to even greater heights. What a blessing it'll be to be able to serve girls. Now let me get out of the way and introduce our MC for today. He is someone who truly needs no introduction. He is a founding board member of the West End School. He grew up right here in this neighborhood. He is one of Louisville's most favorite sons. He is known around the country as Dr. Duncanstein. And I believe he was one of the originators of the high five that became a worldwide symbol of celebration.
Tell him your name. Take your mask off. Tell him your name.
My name is Dalton.
Now Dalton has been getting on me about, please come to the school. They don't believe you're my cousin. Can you come to my classroom? And events happened where we just didn't connect. So students, this is my cousin. Thanks, guys. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate the amazing work that you and the board do to make the West End School what it is. These young men here with us today are indeed impressive. And I too am incredibly excited for the young women and girls who will become a part of the West End School. I'm truly honored to serve as MC for this very special event and announcement. Not only is it an opportunity for all of us to shine the light on the amazing accomplishments of the school and the amazing people who make it happen every day, it's a chance for us to look back to the future. I want to leave you students with these words. Surround yourself with people whose eyes light up when they see you coming. Slowly is the fastest way to get where you want to be. The top of the mountain is the bottom of the next. So keep climbing. And most importantly, most people don't lead their lives. They accept their lives. You don't have to accept your circumstances. Strive to be better. And when you look back and remember the people who helped you along the way, you realize maybe it will be your turn to do the same one day for another generation.
I'm so delighted to be in your presence and elated to speak to you today. I grew up on 12th and Hill in the Park Hill housing projects and was raised by a single mother with 6 brothers, 6 sisters, and 2 brothers in a house built on love and respect. My mom taught us how to treat people and how people should treat us. Regardless of what the world predicted we would become, my mother instilled in each of us that we can do anything with God on our side. And guess what? We did. She also taught us about giving back to a cause bigger than yourself. Despite the odds that were against me, with God, my mama, and my own personal drive, I made it. Romans 8:28 tells us, and we know in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. All things work together. While there are a lot of things and people that have tried to stand in my way, and there still are, faith, family, and community have helped me to overcome and work through those things. It has made me stronger and led me to the good I thank God for every day in my life. Beyonce's 2011 hit song, and this is the censored version, make sure you listen to that version. Run the world, girls. Who runs the world? Girls. Who runs the world? Girls. I celebrate that today. It's boys and girls running the world. When girls are provided a safe place to learn, surrounded with strong female and male role models who are invested in their education, given structured opportunities to learn and grow into their fullest potential, sensory-rich STEM programs, teachers and administrators who lead with love, who are in it to win it for every student of every color. All are precious in sight because Jesus loves the little children of the world. A community that is involved in 360 degrees in all aspects of a child's life, igniting, illuminating, and let's not forget, financially committed to leaving no child left behind. A community that is clearly the way for Jeremiah 29:11. I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. There is something in those words. His plans give you hope and a future. If you would, allow me to hit the pause button and rewind just for a few minutes. Let me take a moment of privilege to have everyone stand to their feet and join me in showing our gratitude, appreciation, support, and thanks to the Brown-Forman Corporation for their more than generous donation of $10 million. I challenge each of you to be in the moment and do something that will leave a legacy with your name on it. Ephesians 6:13 clearly tells us to put on the full armor of God, so when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground, and after you have done everything, to stand. Stand your ground. Do something that will make a difference for the children that will enter the doors of the West Girls and Boys School. Together, we are better, and we are better because we are together. God's blessings upon you today and always.
The West End School has taught me respect and accountability. And I have a story for you guys, and I can see Robert in the back smiling, because as an alumni, you know I have stories. There was one particular week where things weren't going so great for the students. Students who normally stay out of trouble were in in-school suspension. Students who normally had their homework done had missing assignments. Rooms that were normally clean were a mess. And Thursday rolled around. And normally, after school, we clean our classrooms, we pack up our stuff, and we head back to the dorm. Now, when I was here, the dorm was a house on Chestnut Street. It was not this campus. It was not this beautiful building here. And we packed up our stuff on that Thursday afternoon and proceeded to walk to the van. And Mr. Blair stood in front of the van with his hands in the air, said, "Where are you guys going?" And we said, "Mr. B, we're ready for after-school activities." And he said, "Oh, no. Everyone head to the main classroom." So we trudged back to the main classroom, sat down, thinking to ourselves, what is this old man talking about? And he proceeded to tell us, "You have expectations for me. You expect me to wake you up every morning to get ready for school. You expect me to have breakfast on the table for you guys in the morning. You expect me to teach you guys. You expect me to drive you places. And you, at the end of the day, you expect me to help you with your homework and to have dinner ready when you get back to the dorm. But my question to you guys is, as us as the students, what do you think I expect from you? I expect you to have your room clean. I expect you guys to show up to class on time. I expect you guys to do your best to stay out of trouble. We're in middle school, and we're gonna get in trouble, trust me. And he said, today, I'm not going to follow your expectations. You guys are gonna walk from here to the Chestnut Street dorm. We put our basketball shoes on, or walking shoes, whatever they may be, and we walked that 75-mile uphill trip. What felt like 75 miles was probably only 4. It was hot that day. The chaperones were also hot. They didn't like the walk any more than we did. And we got back to the dorm, and obviously, Robert drove. And he was there, and he said, this is not gonna be an after-school activity day. Today's gonna be a cleaning day. And after you're done cleaning, you expect Mrs. B to have dinner on the table. well, we're gonna help you make your own dinner tonight. And all of those things happened, and we went to bed, woke up the next morning, and before school, we went to the main classroom, and Mr. B told us, in life, you are gonna have people who expect things from you, and you're gonna have expectations for others. And when expectations aren't met, something or someone will suffer. And the moral of that story is to be accountable. To the students in the room, do what is expected of you, and you will be successful. To the leaders in the room, continue to do what is expected of you. Continue to lead, and those who you lead in your community will thrive. And I know I speak for every faculty and staff member in this room, for every parent in this room, and for every board member in this room when I say we will continue to do what is expected of us, and we will never waver in that regard. And I leave you with this question. What do you expect from West End School during this journey? And how can we all work together to make that happen?
You know, Brown-Forman, I know you all know it's a big business. It's a global business. We've got more than 5,000 employees spread around the world. We sell in 170 countries, yet we have maintained our home in the West End of Louisville. It's actually over 100 years now that we've been on Dixie Highway, and we've been in Louisville for 152 years. So a long time, and we have been committed to being good neighbors for quite a long time too, and we're stepping it up and doing even more than what we were doing before, and I'm excited about that. So in April, we made a commitment to our neighbors, because that's really what neighbors do. So $50 million going out to the community is something that I'm very excited about. And if I'm honest, Ralph, wherever you are, Ralph, I don't see you in the, over here, gets a lot of credit. I've got a great team here, and they're all, we've got a bunch of people here that are excited about it. But Ralph is the one, I must admit, that sort of pushed me over the edge and pushed our foundation to really step up, and step up over a 10-year window of time too, which I said at the first press announcement was the thing that really sunk into my head is how we can be better neighbors. It's not just the 1 year, year after year granting. It's actually giving a 10-year commitment to the community so they can rely on that and they can focus on doing what they do best. And so I'm certainly excited at that. And so, look, we talked about a $10 million gift to the boys' school in April, and today's all about a $10 million gift to build a school for the girls. Paul's going to talk a lot more about that in a few minutes, but it's been something that I've been talking about inside the walls of Brown-Forman for a long time, and that's why I say I'm excited when we get here today and we get to talk in front of you all. So my first experience with the West End School, if you went back in time, I didn't know it that well. I didn't know how good I'd been in this gym for youth basketball tournaments. I hadn't met Robert yet, and Coach Samiti was actually coaching my children out of KCD. And there was a number of kids in particular that came in at the same age as my son and played football. And there's something about the sport of football and basketball, I think, where you get very close to your teammates and you get to see how they really act. And Friday Night Lights became a big thing at that school. And an observation that hit me so hard was some of these kids had extended families that came to the games and cheering them on, and it was just, it was awesome. Other kids were out there and they didn't have anybody cheering them on, and that was a lot tougher to see. But even those kids that didn't have somebody cheering them on, maybe from their own family, the school got behind them in a huge way and impacted their lives, and they thrived in that atmosphere, and the reason they thrived was because of the education that they really got here. Academic education and education on how to be a better person. And it was amazing. These kids were great. I mean, they were just for the most part model students and regular high school boys trying to survive and try to get through it all and thrive, and they did. So, I think about those days and how what it really takes in my mind is just one person, a mentor, a coach, a teacher, somebody that just grabs hold of these kids and gives them the confidence to really to thrive and do better things and believe that they can actually do it, and give them the skills and education and hope for a brighter tomorrow. And so when you get a job at Stockyards or Brown Foreman or any other whatever vocation or whatever job that you might want to be, you're given the gift from this school to get a chance to really have a good shot at improving your station in life and doing whatever it is that you want to do. And I do think, what we're doing here is investing in the next generation of leaders. We really want to give them the time and allow them to be what we use the terms at Brown Foreman, be the best version of yourself. And I think we're going to do that these days. So I am moved to see all these young kids in the back of the room. I haven't seen so many of them in one room at one time, but even in this environment, you guys are acting great back there, smiling and excited, and now that we're going to be able to do this not only for boys, but be more equitable and give this experience and give this chance to young women. And that is something I think this town has needed for a long time, but I'm excited to be able to do that. I'm excited Brown Foreman can afford to support them. So know that we're going to be here, know that we're going to be here for the community for the long haul, we're going to be here for the school for the long haul, and I think it's just because it's the right thing to do.
This thing started 17 years ago, and when you think about starting something, it takes a lot of effort. The West End School has been benefit of $30 million over 16 and a half years. Now we got to put that in perspective, because 10 million of that, Barry, I'm not rounding up, I'm telling the truth. 10 million of that is in physical assets on this campus, and we are debt free. When I talk to you about excellence, when I use that word, all of a sudden received an excellent partner. And I said I was going to get personal, because we've said Brown Foreman, we said Brown Foreman Corporation, we say Brown Foreman Foundation, but it's personal. When we first started talking about this, Lawson and I and Ralph, I can tell you, they get it. They just don't have an address in the West End. We're not just called the West End School by chance. We, like Brown Foreman, are a part of the West End community of Louisville, Kentucky. And it's a powerful community, okay? And so when these people are smart. Lawson said he's got his team there, Jill and Karen, and listen, they gave us $10 million over 10 years to help us sustain the boys' school. Thank you. Thank you, Ralph. And Ralph does get the credit for what I'm about to say. They gave us $10 million to operate a girls' school. Okay, but we don't have a girls' school. That's why Ralph did that, because he wanted to push me over the ledge to go find money to build the school. And that's what we get to right now. We get through an excellent partnership with these folks, we get to expansion. Now, there's renderings here. This is what I call today the West End Girls School Commons building. It's going to be right outside this building. You can see, if you can see there, it's going to be right outside there. And what we're taking from the boys, we're going to give right back. We're taking their green space. We're taking their soccer field. We're taking where they have fun. But across the street on 36th Street, from Virginia to Dumedale, there's 6 residents. So far, those 6 residents, Connie, where you at? Thank you, Connie. So far, those 6 residents, we bought and own 5 of them. We got 1 to go. Now, when you have 5, you got 1 to go. We'll get the 6th. So I'm representing that to you. We'll get the 6th. And what happens then across the street, we own that block to block, a long block. That'll be our green space to give to our kids, both boys and girls. Soccer field, tennis courts, gazebo, workout stations, walking path. But in order to do that, it takes $10 million. So Brown-Forman gave us $20 million, 10 to operate boys, 10 to operate girls. Now we need $10 million to build the box, so to speak. But we need $4 million more, and we need it by Christmas. Because if you recall, we don't build anything till we have all the money. So this is now the time where I turn and I say to the press, and by the way, thank you all for being here. I say to the press, you got to help us get the word out today. We've got $6 million. We've got $20 million. We need $4 million between now and Christmas. And there's not a better investment. Just look up top there in the bleachers at all our young men and look at Kenny Gray. Now, I want to say this final thing. I want to use the word exactly. This is exactly what's supposed to be happening. I said I was going to keep it personal. Jeff and Kenny, they're not here because of University of Louisville basketball. They got a lot of things to do. They're not recruiting anybody. They're here because they're our friends. And they say something to the community. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys. So I'm going to close by saying this. Need $4 million. Don't disappoint me. Okay?